folks. So far, the Justice Department investigation into January 6th has spent a lot of time focusing on the rioters. The Department of Justice has slowly been working through charges for hundreds of people, actually, who went home after the riot, like nothing happened. But now the Department of Justice seems to be turning to Donald Trump's inner circle. The federal grand jury investigating the Capitol riot subpoenaed former White House counsel Pat Cipollone. Let's talk about it. Joining me now is MSNBC legal analyst Melissa Murray. She is an NYU law professor and former associate clerk to Associate Justice Sonia Sotomayor. And Monique Pressley is here. She is an attorney and legal analyst and host of Make It Make Sense with Monique Pressley. Welcome to you both. Okay, Melissa, I'm going to start with you, because what does this Cipollone subpoena really signal about the Justice Department's investigation? Like, is this a turning point towards holding some of the more powerful folks accountable, you think?
I think this is a very big development, Symone. It's important for a number of reasons. Pat Cipollone famously pleaded executive privilege and attorney-client privilege when testifying before the January 6th committee. In the District of Columbia, the courts have held that those privileges do not necessarily hold sway in situations involving a criminal investigation. So he may be required to provide more testimony than what he provided to the January 6th committee. And that could be potentially enormous in terms of gathering evidence to bring together this case against the Trump inner circle. I mean, much has been made of the Attorney General's deliberation and methodical approach to all of this, but this is part of it. A grand jury subpoena here could actually yield considerable fruit.
Now, and I also think it's important for folks to know that everybody and their mama just can't claim executive privilege, okay? The current president of the United States is where executive privilege rests with it, not every former president that ever lived. It's driving me crazy. So, Monique, you're shaking your head yes, okay. Cipollone, he gave a lot of information to the January 6th committee. What could the grand jury and the Department of Justice really get out of him that maybe we didn't know before?
Oh, they can get tons of things out of him. Okay. We may not have heard anything yet, frankly, because everything that he and his lawyers got together on, I don't know if you noticed how he looked really...
He looked tense. He was very uncomfortable.
Tense, to say the least, angry sometimes. I mean, just the whole how in the world did I end up here was his general demeanor, because attorneys are the most uncomfortable when we actually have to be testifying, and especially where we don't know where the privileges are and where they aren't. But when it comes down to a criminal investigation, all bets are off. Just as the professor just said to us, everything that they strategized beforehand, that he was instructed not to answer, that likely is not going to hold fire here, because if he doesn't answer, they may do what we've had to do any number of times. Have the judge on speed dial. You say it's privilege, give us a ruling, and then keep moving. So he's not going to have those options, or he may be looking at some time for refusing to cooperate before anything else happens.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I mean, goodness, this is a lot. Okay. Not only is it Pat Cipollone, though, Melissa, CNN is reporting that Donald Trump's attorneys are now in contact with the Justice Department. And, you know, NBC News, to be clear, has not independently verified this. But how do you imagine that those talks are going?
Well, I imagine they're going slowly. I mean, this is a situation where you have someone who is generously put it, reluctant to testify, and his lawyers are going to be working overtime to limit the amount of information that can be disclosed. So again, here, I think there'll be a lot of negotiation over the scope and extent of executive privilege. And again, this is going to be really tough sailing. As you say, the executive privilege relies with the current holder of that office, not with a former holder. But again, there's going to be some discussion about whether privileged communications that occurred during his presidency can be disclosed or may be required to be disclosed.
Monique, I have about 30 seconds left here for your answer, but the FBI has arrested more than 880 Capitol rioters. These are folks who just went home thinking nothing was going to happen to them. And it sometimes seems like this investigation has been going at a slow pace and justice seems very far off. But last week we did see the first rioters case to go to a jury and receive a very lengthy sentence. And I'm wondering, if you were representing one of these seditionists, you are not, to be very clear, but if you were, what would you be telling your clients right now? Would that sentence last week give you pause?
Oh, absolutely. And they should be preparing this entire time, expecting that their turn is coming. The Justice Department has been very clear that they are methodical, but that they intend to hold every single person accountable. Look at what happened, separate topic, but with Breonna Taylor and with the officers who were charged. Take that as notice, everyone, of the manner in which this Justice Department thoroughly, succinctly, efficiently turns over every rock until justice is done. I have every confidence that they're going to do that here, all the way up to the top if they can get there.
All right, Monique Pressley, Melissa Murray, thanks to you both very, very much.